The Labour Party in Nigeria is currently engulfed in a leadership crisis. At the heart of the issue is a dispute over the party's national leadership, with the Julius Abure-led leadership being challenged. Kenneth Okonkwo, former spokesperson for the Labour Party Campaign Council, recently announced his departure from the party, citing the leadership crisis as the reason. Okonkwo stated that the party has been encumbered by unnecessary litigation and lacks effective leadership at the national level. The crisis took a turn when Abia State Governor Otti convened a stakeholders meeting to address the issue, resulting in the establishment of a 29-member caretaker committee. However, Abure's faction rejected the committee, citing or calling it null and void. The party's leadership crisis has been further complicated by the Independent National Electoral Commission's non-recognition of Abure's leadership. With the 2027 elections looming, the Labour Party's ability to resolve its leadership crisis will be crucial in determining its future prospects. Well, joining me on the program this evening to discuss this is Kennedy Ahanotu, is the national youth leader of the Labour Party. He joins virtually. Thank you for your time, Kennedy.
Thank you so much. Good evening, my dear brother.
All right. Now, let's pick up this conversation from the fact, or what we know, that Kenneth Okonkwo, a former spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, recently resigned, citing internal leadership crisis, and he expressed gross disappointment with the party's current state, saying that, of course, the goal of achieving good governance can no longer be realized within the Labour Party and its present, makeup. In his words, he used specific words like describing the party as a sinking ship and stated that he is escaping to safety. So my question to you as the national youth leader of the party, is the Labour Party sinking?
Well, as you can see, I'm speaking to you from my office in the National Secretariat of the Labour Party. And I can assure you that the Labour Party is stronger, the Labour Party is bigger, and the Labour Party is moving forward. All I can say about some of the statements of Kenneth Okonkwo is that politics is not movie production. Politics is not, Kenneth Okonkwo was the lead actor in a movie called Living in Bondage. And I feel that there are some effects of that movie acting out on him currently, right now, because if he's playing politics with the way he is going on, creating content every day, I think he will not achieve much politically, because what he's doing right now is just content creation.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you are saying a very learned fellow, because we also understand he's a lawyer. A learned fellow like Kenneth Okonkwo is creating content with his utterances.
Yes, I can boldly say that, because the same lawyer you are referring to, even though I don't know where his chambers are located, is the one saying which court judgment. If you watch him on a TV station last night, when he was being interrogated, and Shane openly asked him, what happened to a court declaration of Abure as national chairman? A lawyer that does not believe in court judgment. Is he a lawyer? In fact, I know that the LPDC, the Legal Disciplinary Committee members watched that outing to see a lawyer, their member, discrediting a judgment given by a learned judge. So if you say he's a lawyer, I'm aware that he's a lawyer. I remember when he passed through the law school, but I wonder how someone that passed through the law school will be questioning a judgment of the court on a TV set, instead of going back to court to appeal such judgment, which is expected of a learned practitioner, a legal practitioner. So what I said is in order. Politics is beyond content creation and building followership on Twitter and social media.
So how would you, in one word, what do you have to say about his exit? Would you miss him as a party?
Like a political party, it's like a barracks where soldier comes and soldier goes. And let me explain this to you. Kenneth Okonkwo is not up to 2 years in the party. He joined the party sometime around September, August 2022. Around August 2022, when some of them saw that the Labour Party have vetted presidential candidates with capacity, with credibility, and a man that is expected to take over governance in Nigeria. Based on that, many opportunists in Nigeria launched their politics in Labour Party. You know, when this thing didn't happen, they were no longer seeing much that will come for the next 4 years. Most of them wanted party positions. Most of them wanted to be integrated into the party structure, but then the approach was totally wrong. And when this was not forthcoming, most of them jumped out of the party. And this brings us to a point where we must begin to think of institutional development. People must grow in an institution. You know, this has shown how unstable most of them are. Within 2 years, you have joined a political party. Under that same 2 years, you are now talking as if you are bigger than a political party. Political institution is bigger than anybody. And when you are in that organization and you don't feel protected and you feel you don't want to belong to that organization, it's free entry and free exit. You don't need to shout about it. You don't need to make noise about it, because there's what we call internal party democracy, which is the reason why political parties are independent on their own.
So in other words, what you are saying is that, I mean, as the youth representative of the party and the stakeholder right now, you will not miss Kenneth Okonkwo.
Well, the truth is that no matter how emotional I may be about Kenneth Okonkwo, the point is that the party supremacy have come to stay. Even though I may have a personal relationship with him, but as an institution of Labour Party that I'm representing currently, that does not give me a chance. The party will not miss Kenneth Okonkwo, I can assure you. Because recently, Kenneth Okonkwo have turned the party to an institution of mockery. He's trying to make mockery of the party for no just reason. Maybe he has a personal hatred on the personality or on a personality. But as an institution, he has no reason to be castigating the party, saying that the party is a sinking ship, that Abure and cohort. Who are the cohort? I am part of the cohort. Can Kenneth Okonkwo pinpoint anything against Abure or against Prince Kennedy Ahanotu?
I mean, that would bring this conversation to, I mean, the crux of some of the things he did highlight, and some of the things that even political observers have noted as regards the unity of the party. It appears like, you know, there is an Abure faction of the party, and then there's the Governor Alex Otti. Please let me finish. There's the Governor Alex Otti faction, and also the Peter Obi faction of the party on one side. And we know that there are cases in court. So I'm going to ask you, is your party united?
The party is united, as you can see. If the party is not united, tell me one member of the NWC of the party that is fighting the party. Tell me one member of the NEC that is fighting the party. You know, we are in a country where individuals feel they are bigger than institutions. Every political organization in Nigeria has a constitution, and Labour Party have a constitution. That constitution is what determines the activities, the programs, the project, the directions of the party. There is no place in this constitution that gives Dr. Alex Otti the authority to convene a meeting. Yes, he's a governor of the party elected to govern the people of Abia State, and he's a member of NEC. But he does not have the power to convene a meeting, because Alex Otti cannot be the national chairman of Labour Party and also be a governor of Abia State. So I don't know why they did what they did, but as far as the Labour Party is concerned, what happened in Umuahia could be best described as a wedding committee meeting.
So you're saying that what we saw in Umuahia was just a mere show and has no substance. Is that what you're saying?
It does not have substance. It does not have substance because even the court have given them direction of where the party leadership is. It's just that we have people that feels they are bigger than institution. We have people that feels that the NWC members are too small for them to grow under their leadership. That is what has been happening in the Labour Party. There is no faction in Labour Party. The party leadership is running the affairs of the party. Just a day ago, we started the sale of forms for Anambra governorship election. Our communication is intact with the INEC. Our communication is intact with party members. Our communication is intact with National Electoral, National Executive Committee of the party. So there is no issue with the party.
All right.
The party is strong. The party is one. The party is united.
Okay, great. I mean, you keep saying the party is united. So I would like to also ask, specifically to His Excellency Peter Obi, in all of this, what is, according to you, his position in the party right now?
Well, as you know, I'm the national leader of the Labour Party. I'm not a personal assistant to our presidential candidate. I am not his spokesperson, and I'm not in the best position to know what he's thinking right now.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll dig a bit deeper into, of course, the dynamics within the Labour Party. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, it's still Politics HQ on New Central Television, and I'm speaking with Kennedy Ahanotu. He is the National Youth Leader of the Labour Party. Thank you for staying with me, Kenneth. Now, you represent the youth, well, I call it a population right now of the party, being the National Youth Leader. And we know that the Labour Party has a strong following online. And of course, online, you have, it's composed of quite a number of young persons. I've asked this question quite a number of times, but I would like you to speak specifically on it. The perception, some individuals have about Labour Party members online, that they're aggressive. Some of them would even describe them as bullish, cult-like, unruly. Once you do not agree with them, they tend to swarm on you like bees, and they can be pretty much intense. What do you have to say about these notions?
Well, I think it's a very wrong description of Nigerian youths. We have a country where Nigerian youths, the youth generation, have been denied of good governance over the years. They have been denied of good leadership. Nigerian youths have been denied inclusivity. Nigerian youth have been kept behind the scene in terms of deciding their future in this country. And when they saw a presidential candidate of Labour Party that represents credibility, that represents capacity, they fell in love with the Labour Party. And then they looked at all the political parties in Nigeria. The Labour Party is the only political party that reflects human being. It's the only party that have Papa, Mama, and Pikin. And they saw that the Labour Party, without being told, have included them in decision-making, have included them in participation. If you look at the previous elections, the Labour Party have the highest number of youth that we are giving ticket to run an election in Nigeria. So Nigerian youth, out of desperation to regain power, to win an election, to see competency in Nigerian administration, now they are desperate to see that. So it makes them, when you are thirsty for good governance, you want to see it happen. You want to perform. You want to do things that will make it realistic. That is Nigerian youth for you. They are not a mob. They don't attack anybody. They attack those that have held and sat down on our commonwealth over the years. So when they hear the name of some of these men that have destroyed the system, that have been in government for the past 25 years of democracy, and they are not doing anything to change the narrative, Nigerian youth are not happy with them. So Nigerian youth are very decent, and you know that social media and is the only platform that is cheap for them, that is easy in terms of access to them. That is why they express themselves. With the Freedom of Information Act, they feel they are free to express themselves on social media. And that is why Nigerian youths will come on social media to say, attack the system. They are not attacking personalities. They are attacking the system that have misused and mismanaged our Commonwealth.
Okay, now talking about the system, let's bring it to this current administration. I mean, you represent the young population of the party. How would you describe this administration's policies and activities, particularly as it affects the youths?
Well, it's only, there's what we call audio messages. That is what we've been getting from this administration. For instance, 1st of October last year, Mr. President promised Nigerian youth that there will be an opportunity for them to come together to share ideas and talk about how they can be included in the governance of the country. Today is 12th of February 2025. There is no template on such youth confer that is being proposed by Mr. President. Secondly, there are a lot of programs that we had on TV and radio stations that are being rolled out by this government. But up until today, there is no result in terms of key performance indices, no feedback on the performances indices of these programs and projects that's being rolled out. All we keep hearing is that we are rolling out this palliative, we are giving out these scholarships, but in reality, can you tell us how many people have enjoyed it, who and who have witnessed it? It is only in Nigeria that a government that said they are coming to work for the people will use 3 billion to consult to give Nigerian youth 25,000 each. It is only APC government that have been doing that. It is only in this government that Nigerian youth are kept behind without taking part in major decisions.
I mean, yes, you said quite a number of things, but there's also the notion that, I mean, opposition parties are being stifled. Some would even describe it as Nigeria snowballing into a one-party state, saying that maybe to some extent, some members of the opposition are even bought. There are allegations that some are paid, monies to even destabilize opposition parties. So, I mean, you criticize the administration and all, but I want to ask you, even as an opposition, we know that the Labour Party, I mean, in the last election was pretty intense, but do you still have that steam as a party, or as a result of the internal crisis, are you losing it?
Well, what I know is that there is no house that, makes much stronger impact when there are some wranglings and crises.
Well, let me put it directly to you this way. Are you worried that there are moles within your party?
Which you have been able... Pardon?
I said, let me put it directly at you like this. Are you worried that there might be moles within your party?
There may be what?
Moles. People that maybe are paid to destabilize your party. Are you worried that there might be moles within your party?
In the past. Yes, we had such a thing in the past. But I can tell you that currently, in the Labour Party NWC, we don't have any more. I can say that boldly. But it happened in the past. After our presidential election, we had a papa that wanted to take over the party leadership and withdraw the case of Mr. Peter Obi from the court. So we had that mole then, but currently Labour Party, as is being constituted, does not have such. The allegation of money being given to political parties, I am aware, as someone in charge of mobilization, nobody have told me and nobody have given me part of it.
So you are saying nobody has given you money and you are not aware of money being disbursed to any member of your party?
Nobody have given me money, and I'm not aware of any money entering the party because I occupy a critical position in the party.
But I'm still going to go back to the issue of Lamidi Apapa that you mentioned. Lamidi Apapa and, of course, Mr. Arabambi, who, maybe I should confirm, at some point identified as national secretary of the party. I don't know if that's still is substantial now. You know, they still identify with the party.
The national publicity secretary of the party is Mr. Obiora. He's the national publicity secretary.
So how about Mr. Arabambi right now?
Arabambi was the former national publicity secretary of the party.
Okay,
that's
so
the correct information.
But are they still members? Is Lamidi Apapa and Mr. Arabambi, are they still members of the party?
Look, what I can tell you is that for the past 3 years, I've not set my eyes on Lamidi Apapa in the party headquarters. Same thing with Arabambi. But personally, there is no enmity between individuals, because what is involved in politics is permanent interest. There is no permanent enemy. Arabambi may decide to come back to the party, and he's welcome, because Labour Party is a family party. Anybody that is want to work with the party is free to work with the party. The party does not push people away. Even when you must have been disciplined, the party is still willing to bring you back to work for the party. That is why it's a political party.
Okay, let's move away from that. Let's talk about a recent development. Now, this morning, you know, at News Central, the breakfast show, we had Daniel Bwala, who was the special advisor to the president on policy communication. He was on the breakfast belt, and he made some really, well, I'll call it daring statements. One of which is that he described the EndSARS protest as the beginning of irresponsible protest in the country. I mean, we know that the EndSARS protest, you know, comprised a lot of young persons who, quite a number of them are even yet to recover from what they went through during that particular time. What will be your reaction to this, given the fact that you represent the youth population?
Well, before I speak on that, I want to salute the courage of Nigerian youth, and I want to pray that the soul of those that died during the EndSARS rest in peace, continuously to rest in peace. And I also salute the courage of Nigerian youth who stood to say that the molestation, the intimidation of SARS must come to an end. And if you can believe me, even the Nigerian government took a step and they ended SARS at that point, because the molestation and the intimidation was becoming something else. Well, for Daniel Bwala, I will not blame him. Some of them does not have any moral integrity to speak to the morality of Nigerian youth, to speak to the morality of the Nigerian citizens. Why? Because this is someone we know that just threw out a spit some months ago, and just some months after, he has swallowed the spit. He spit it out. So some of them are not people of integrity that we should take their speech very serious. They speak based on the payment they were made. Currently, as you know, Daniel Bwala is under the payroll of our president.
Kennedy, maybe so that you would, for our viewers at home, to have a better, you know, understanding or grasp of what he said on the breakfast belt. Let's listen to it and then come back to your reaction. Take a listen.
It's okay.
In Abuja, I participated. It started on Sunday. After church, I drove, and then I stopped by the central area, tried to identify with Nigeria, let them express themselves. For the first few days, almost a week or close to 2 weeks, they had all the freedom in exercising whatever. In Lagos here, they were singing, bringing parcels. Nobody had a problem. When we began to have the problem was when they came up with the demands. They took, Governor Sanwo-Olu took the demands to President Buhari, and President Buhari said, I'm going to implement them. Some of those demands are not automatic. Reforms in the police, you can't do reform overnight. Now, after he agreed that he was going to implement that, a strategic protesting group with leadership would have said, okay, we then have to, just like the labor union, we are going to call up the protests for 2 weeks and see government action. When they fail, we are going to be back on the street. You know what those guys said? They say we are not leaving the street until we see those things happen. So they now start taking over the highway, taking over the street, thereby blocking people. And so in other words, you want to shut down the law and order in the country. There is no police anywhere in the world that will close its eyes to that fact. Now, EndSARS was the beginning and the foundation of irresponsible protesting.
I mean, there you have it. He said it right there, EndSARS, the beginning and foundation of irresponsible protest. I mean, you've had it now, Kennedy. Maybe you just would like to say a few more things, and then, of course, we move on from there.
Well, I'm standing on what I said about Kenneth Okonkwo. He's saying something different today. I think during the campaigns, he said something different. But now that he's under the payroll of Mr. President, it's understandable what he's saying because he has to prove why he was given that appointment. So that protest is the best protest ever in Nigeria because it achieved results. It's just that Nigerian youth, like I said, have been denied good governance. It's just like when you promise somebody something continuously and he wait for you, say, tomorrow I will give you yam. Tomorrow you wait, no yam. Next tomorrow I will give you yam. Next tomorrow, no yam. And now they want to promise you yam again. It's possible you say, no, I will sit down here until I see that yam. That was what Nigerian youth did. And let me tell you, it's not enough to kill Nigerian youths. It's not enough to shoot people showing Nigerian flag. It's not enough to destroy the people that they refer to as the future leaders of this country. That incident does not speak well for the government. It will not speak well for the government. It has never spoken well for the government. Thank you.
All right, Kennedy Ahanotu, the national youth leader of the Labour Party. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, my dear brother.
All right.